Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to my channel, Become the Disruptor. My name is Magda. I'm a trauma-informed therapist, and today we're going to be talking about your personal taste. So, why you like what you like, and I'll be calling it aesthetic unconscious. But just remember, when what I'm calling aesthetic is just literally your unconscious. So I don't want to overcomplicate it for you, but let's start. So your personal taste, so the things that you like, or in art, in beauty, in buildings, in the way, I don't know, people's faces look like, all that, that is not just like a preference or identity. This is slightly deeper than that. This really kind of showing a lot of your aesthetic unconscious architecture or structure. And it's actually linked to a lot of the things that you had been exposed to that had been outside of your awareness. So, for example, when you had been little and you had been brought up in a particular culture. So all that is part of that aesthetic unconscious. And what I want you to become aware of is that unconscious is deeply related to your nervous system, of course. So the more you expand and the more you heal, that will impact your personal taste. And you will notice, as a lot of my clients notice, and also I notice that within myself, that I'll be drawn to certain things probably more after I properly healed, and after a lot of my clients, properly healed, they are drawn to different things. It's almost like they're drawn to less noise, whatever noise particularly means to you, because noise will look different to different people. And when I'm talking about noise, I'm not talking about the literal aspect of it, but almost like something that it feels like it's just a bit much, that sort of thing. And what I'm talking about, like music, movies, clothes, makeup, with the way you move, the way you dress, like literally a lot of the things. You will notice that with healing, your aesthetic unconscious is changing, and it's almost like you probably notice that you will start coming back to the things that you maybe at some point in your life originally liked, so you were originally drawn to. And that's what is actually happening. So your aesthetic unconscious, most of that perception, so most of what your aesthetic unconscious is perceiving is outside of your awareness. You're not aware of that, and this is really important for us humans to understand, that unconscious is not dark, murky, horrible waters that are hiding some dangerous stuff in it. No, it's all you. It's all you. Now, the more you allowing for yourself to build a respectful relationship with your unconscious. So, for example, you walk into someone's house and you feel like slightly off feeling, or maybe you walk into a building and you feel slightly off. Allow the conscious parts of your brain not to dismiss it straight away, because what we have a tendency to as humans is that the conscious parts of our brain feel so intelligent and so smart that we know everything. Actually, we know very little, and you probably will notice yourself that the more you know, actually you realize that the less your conscious mind is. We know so little about this world and about this life, about our own biology, about our own brains. So it's really important not to be humble. I'm not talking about humility in this religious or spiritual sense. I'm talking about respect. So respecting the signals coming from your body. So when your body says something's off, it doesn't mean that you have to act upon it, escape the building. No, acknowledge it. Okay, my body just sends that something's off. Okay, I'll see. You don't have to act upon that intuition or sensation, whatever came up from the body, but you can respect it and you can treat it accordingly. So it's about, and this develops already much healthier relationship with your body, so your nervous system, and with the unconscious parts of your brain, aka also your aesthetic unconscious, because it's allowing, you know, the nervous system to breathe, that you're not immediately dismissing something, or you're not immediately acting upon. You're just giving a space to breathe, which is what actually awareness is for. It's just to build the space to allow kind of, you know, sometimes life to show us just a bit more. And then we can maybe add meaning or interpret the situation according to this layered information that is unfolding in front of us. So this is how your body and your nervous system, because your nervous system, remember, it just wants to keep you safe. So it will be scanning the environment for data, and it will be sending you signals. And that's why it's, like I said, so important to build that respect. So the aesthetic unconscious is scanning for safety, like I said. It's scanning for coherence. So coherence, I mean, it's basically, it's seeing things for what they are, if that makes sense. It's so it doesn't lie. It's almost like the coherence. If something is coherent, it's so aligned that there's no room for lying of any kind, or delusion or denial. It just sees what it is. So let's say, I don't know, you're in a situation, I don't know, with a friend, and that friend, you feel in your body that they're not telling you the truth. The conscious parts of our mind will be like, of our brain will be like, maybe this, maybe that, but your body knows straight away that they are lying. That's what I'm talking about. So it's almost like they see the coherence or incoherence. So if someone is incoherent, if someone is lying, they can just detect it straight away, the unconscious. But then, like I said, if the conscious parts of your brain are not in a very good relationship with the unconscious, then you're going to be, unfortunately, in a lot of, let's say, tricky situations, unhealed situations, because you're not allowing the body to actually speak the truth, which is, this person is lying. Maybe this person is not actually my friend, and maybe I can find nicer people, not even nicer, but people who are coherent, who are not lying to me. Yeah. So safety, coherence, and contrast as well. So they are kind of sense first. Symmetry as well. So like, you know, it's almost like a geometric shapes or something. It's almost like the aesthetic unconscious is scanning what belongs, what fits, and what doesn't fit. That's it. So your taste, like I said, will be evolving. So your personal taste will be evolving with your healing journey, because when the capacity of your nervous system is increasing, because this is what happens with healing, you have more tolerance for ambiguity, you have more tolerance for uncertainty, you have more tolerance of withstanding fear as a feeling, or any type of feelings. You have more capacity for joy, more capacity for different feelings and sensations in your body. So the nervous system is expansive. Therefore, your taste, like I said at the beginning of the video, will be changing and will be basically less narrow, will be more open. And how it will be changing, that's for you to discover, because it will be changing differently and according to different people, because everyone will have a different, let's say, original capacity. And that's how, you know, the healing, it's almost like you're coming back to your like original nervous system capacity, and what that capacity then kind of shows in your life, what you can create and maybe what you cannot create. So the more your capacity, the more the capacity of your nervous system expands, what is also changing is that your perception is changing. So just remember about this in a way that your brain, also the unconscious parts of your brain, it's constantly predicting, and if it is stuck in trauma, so if the unconscious parts of the brain are still kind of looking at life, at people through the trauma lens, it will be predicting trauma, it will be predicting threat all the time. Yeah. And that will be, of course, impacting the capacity of your nervous system. However, when you start increasing the capacity of your nervous system, like I said, through, you know, different types of work, then your personal taste expands and becomes more open and more you, quote unquote. but also your brain starts changing the prediction. So your brain, instead of, let's say, predicting threat all the time, it will start predicting maybe beauty, maybe start predicting more safety or more coherence, because you, with your increased capacity, you are showing to yourself that there is more to life than just trauma or just suffering, etc. So your aesthetic maturity very much mirrors the nervous system maturity as well. And again, like I said, it will, that maturity will show up differently in different people. So, maturity, and when I say maturity, I would say like non-reactiveness, and you being able to stay in non-interpretation of something, and just allow things to breathe. Just like I said at the beginning of the video, you're allowing your unconscious to breathe as well, so it can give you more signals, more sensations, and then you're just like, okay, let's just stay with it. And again, that increases the capacity of your nervous system, because you're staying in the ambiguity when you're not applying meaning or interpreting something straight away. So your taste actually does not really evolve in isolation. It evolves alongside your nervous system and your healing. And what, of course, changes that is the movement. So the actions and the behavior and the decisions that you're making every single day. So the exposure to life, exposure to different relationships, exposure to different things, plus integration of this exposure. So let's say you go to a gallery. Yes, you go to a gallery, and then of course you will have certain reflections. After being in that gallery, you will soak up the atmosphere. You then allow the time. So you're not applying straight away meaning and interpreting. You're allowing the time to almost like ripen and allow things to integrate. So your body almost like feels like it's expanding, and the nervous system is expanding the capacity. And that integration, when you start doing the exposure plus integration, which then equals that healing and development, you will notice when it's almost like your body has integrated. It just feels like a certain click, that it just feels like, okay, I know what this particular piece, of exposure. So going to a gallery, or, going to a cinema, going to a gig, whichever that is, then specifically, okay, this is what was the meaning. And it usually happens not straight away, like I said. It happens, it depends, but usually sometimes takes 24 hours, sometimes takes a bit more. It depends on the person. So you have to know your own timing of when that exposure plus integration changes into actual development and another step on the healing journey. It's for you to start getting to know your rhythm and start getting to know your timings. So when you avoid that exposure to life and to experiences, that's when your perception freezes. So your brain is almost like freezing in those trauma loops, in the threat loops, in the fear loops that might just, like I said, a lot of the times be almost like the time freezes and you feel like you're still stuck in trauma when actually, life is moving on. So that's why as well, what is really important is that when you're doing the exposure, make that exposure mindful. So make sure that you're exposing your nervous system and your brain to a coherent environment. So clutter versus coherence. So, obviously gallery won't be cluttered. It will be designed in a specific way to give you a artistic experience. And that you can give that to yourself, by rearranging things in your house as well. It's not about, if you want to, you can make an art gallery out of that. Yes, of course. But what I'm saying is that look at the environment that you're living in, because that is impacting the capacity of your nervous system. So you see clutter versus coherence, contrast versus noise or like overload, because contrast is needed, because it's almost like it makes things almost like pop up, yeah? But there is a difference between a contrast and noise, and you can tell that for yourself as well, because like I said at the beginning of the video, for some people's noise is actually for some people's coherence. So you gotta know your own preferences and your own aesthetic unconscious. And also we have the rhythm. So again, your particular rhythm of exposure, integration, development, and chaos. Because if you expose yourself too much too quickly and you don't integrate the experiences, then that development, it's not, so the nervous system capacity, it's not gonna move on. You're gonna be staying in that exposure, but nothing really gets ever integrated. And that is basically, chasing novelty, I guess. And that is not rhythmic. That is not rhythmical. That is not your actual rhythm, because it's not the rhythm of the nervous system, of the human nervous system. So you gotta discover what is your particular rhythm versus chaos to you. So aesthetic unconscious is supporting regulation, and it's supporting the increasing the capacity of your nervous system, aka healing. And different environments can either drain you or they build capacity. And they can also support the regulation. So it's really important for you to take it in, think about what sort of environments and what sort of exposures you are doing in your life, and then think about your own evolution and the evolution of your own capacity, which is, again, the healing. So, the personal taste, your perception, none of that is, cosmetic, none of that is superficial. It's actually biological, as I explained to you, and it's deeply linked to the architecture of your particular aesthetic unconscious. So I trust that information was helpful for you. If so, then like, share, and subscribe. Also, you can book a therapeutic session with me. Also, you can buy a aesthetic operating system if you want to dive deeper into neuroaesthetics and into your aesthetic unconscious. I give a bit more details in that mini guide, so you can check the links below. Otherwise, I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye bye.